Welcome, friends, to another EconoMinute, brought to you by Democracy at Work, and this one's about the minimum wage and the endless debate about whether we should raise it and thereby risk some people losing their jobs, or protect those jobs by keeping the minimum wage at the terribly low rate it now stands, condemning people who earn that amount of money a poverty existence. One group of economists at UC Berkeley make a study and say, gee, if you raise the minimum wage, not many jobs will be lost. And a competing group of conservative economists at the University of Washington make the opposite case. If you raise minimum wages, a significant number of people earning very little will lose their jobs because employers are not willing to pay a bit more. And we're supposed to agonize over these two things, to decide which we want, keeping workers at a poverty-level minimum wage or threatening unemployment by raising the minimum wage. This is like being confronted in a dark alley by a mugger who says to you, which do you prefer? I stab you or I throttle you? A reasonable person would respond immediately by saying, that's not a choice I accept. That's not a choice I'm willing to make. And to take steps, whatever ones are available, to stop the mugger from being in a position to impose such an awful choice. And that's exactly what we ought to be doing if we were responsible economists when confronted by the choice between an awful minimum wage and losing poor people their jobs by raising the minimum wage. That's also a choice we can and we should reject, just like the mugger's threat, which is what it is. Why? Because a decent economy, an economy that wants our support, has to provide to the people of a society jobs so they can do good work and proper incomes so they can lead their lives and do good work. An economy unable to provide both doesn't deserve our support. Just like a person we encounter in a dark alley who gives us a choice of different ways to be hurt or killed doesn't deserve to be taken seriously, and the last thing on earth we would do in that dark alley is agonize over which is better, being throttled, being stabbed. We wouldn't do that. And we oughtn't to be asking which is better, getting some poor people a higher wage and risking them being fired, or saving those jobs and condemning everybody to live at a low minimum wage. That is not acceptable. What economists ought to be doing is figuring out how this economy we live in can provide everyone with a decent job and everyone who has such a decent job with a correspondingly decent income. And an economic system that can't do that, that wants us to debate between one or another unsatisfactory situation, that debate over the minimum wage is exactly that. That kind of an economy doesn't deserve our support and has lost its right to exist.